Now, Donald Trump continues to fill the swamp he's supposedly drained with more Goldman Sachs appointees. Yes, Goldman Sachs. Now, The Hill is reporting that President Trump has nominated former Goldman Sachs executive to a senior role, marking the fifth current or former member from that bank, that institution, to join his new administration. Now, this one is James Donovan, who was a Goldman Sachs managing director. Now, he will serve as Deputy Treasury Secretary under Steven Mnuchin, and this is according to White House officials. Now, Donovan, who the Washington Post reported previously backed Mitt Romney and Jeb Bush's presidential campaigns, is now expected to work with Trump's domestic policy agenda alongside of Steven Mnuchin. Now, what this pick represents is the will of the establishment. I mean, think about it this way. Now, Stephen Bannon, and I'm in the anti-establishment. No. The enemy of Stephen Bannon is other media. That's who he doesn't like. He doesn't care about the political or money establishment, which is the real problem here. See, Bannon was a former Goldman Sachs employee, so he knows all these people, right? And so this is probably the establishment plus Bannon's pick. They want these Goldman Sachs people to be there. Now why? Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Now, again, this is the fifth former employee of Goldman Sachs. Again, you have Steven Mnuchin, who Donovan will report to, White House Chief Strategist Bannon, as I mentioned, Gary Cohn. Cohn now serves as director of the White House National Economic Council. You also have Dina Powell, who is the White House Senior Counselor for Economic Activities. So essentially what I'm saying is that all these different Goldman Sachs people are put in all of these important economic positions. They've essentially handed the government over to Goldman Sachs, over to the bank. Now, it's funny because somebody who was so critical of the financial elite, he seems to be very, very comfortable with putting people in from the global financial elite. I'm just saying. But here's the reason why, in case you're wondering. It's because they want what he wants. Lower taxes, less regulation, and more money going to the top 1%. Follow the money. For example, I keep reporting Trump Care or Ryan Care cuts taxes on the top 10% of income earners and gives them a total of a $600 billion tax cut. Members of the top 0.1%, who each on average make more than $3.75 million a year, would get an average tax cut of $165,000. Because of the repeal of a lot of these taxes that are in the ACA. These taxes affect, they don't affect 90% of the people. They only affect 10%, the top 10%. So most of these Obamacare taxes, they're so horrible. Well, they affect only 10% of the population, the richest. And yet they we got to get rid of these Obamacare. We got to get rid of it. We got to get rid of the taxes, the regulations, got to get rid of it. And trust me, it'll make it better for you. If they meant the richest 10%, then absolutely. It would make it better for them because they'd save an average of $600,000 or $600 billion altogether. So look, that's what this is about. And you know what? More proof that they're going to give more and more to the rich. Okay? Trump's proposed tax plan also gives massive tax breaks to very, very wealthy people, with some going to, yes, the middle class, but however, the lion's share will end up going to the wealthiest Americans. According to the Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center, the wealthiest 1% will receive 47% of all the tax breaks in the tax bill, in the proposed tax bill. He's in it for the rich. That's why he's putting in all these Goldman Sachs guys that want the same things. They all want the tax cuts. They all want the deregulation because it's all about the money. The money. It is to rob and plunder you and to give to the rich. It is the same old establishment that has been crushing you the whole time. Change on the outside, continuity on the inside. You might not feel it now, but you will. You'll feel it when the deficit explodes. When they use that whole excuse, oh, the deficit, we got to do something about the deficit to pay for these tax cuts. Well, they're going to take it out on you. They're going to block grant your Medicaid. They're going to cut your food stamps. They're going to cut your aid to the poor and so-called entitlements. They can't wait to get any kind of help that goes to the poor so that they can put it right back in their pockets. That's the problem. How many more examples do you need? Trump is the new establishment. The media establishment, by the way, doesn't actually hate him. I don't think so anyway. They actually love him. You know why? Ratings. It's all about ratings. This is the same media that, by the way, brands himself as a resistance to Trump. Is the same media that gave him $2 billion in free coverage during the campaign. That was so friendly to them. So friendly to Donald Trump and the Republicans. What changed? Now it's profitable to prop yourself up as the resistance. It's all about money, man. It's a symbiotic relationship. Corporate media makes lots of money off Donald Trump, and Trump can use the media to distract from his horrific policies. You want an example of that? Go look at the Trump tax returns that Rachel Maddow said was an exclusive. An explosive exclusive. There's your example. This is a disaster. Sad. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.